Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about section 4.4, adding and subtracting fractions. Okay, let's start this thing off. First thing we're going to do is we are going to start with adding fractions where they have a same denominator. So when two fractions have the same denominator, we keep the denominator, stays the same, and we add the numerator. And I'm going to draw a picture for this one. And let's see, we have 3/8 and 1/8. Okay, so I got 3/8 and 1/8. And I want to add these up. See how much we get left with. And I know my picture is amazing. Thank you for noticing. Very talented. Okay, so I got 3 pieces plus 1 piece. When I add them up, you see I've got 4 pieces in my numerator. My number of equal parts in the whole, or my denominator, is going to be 8. And then I ask myself, is this in lowest terms? Is 4/8 in lowest terms? No, it is not in lowest terms. So I can reduce 4/8 by, one, I notice they're both even, so I could take out 2 from both terms. Now I can do it the way I did last time, or I can do another way too, where I divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2 over 8 divided by 2, 4. 2/4. Now is 2/4 fully reduced? No, because I notice they're both even again. So I can once again divide numerator and denominator by 2 and see what happens. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. And I get 1/2. And lo and behold, that does look like my picture. It looks about half a candy bar. Awesome. I'm not going to draw any more pictures because obviously my talents are very good and I have to use them sparingly because I don't want to waste them. Okay, so number 2, I'm going to first, I look at my denominator. They match. So my denominator is going to be 12. And then 7 minus 1 gives me 6 over 12. Now, can I reduce 6 over 12? Yeah, I definitely can. I know this 6 goes into both terms. So I can rewrite this as 6 times 1 over 6 times 2. And then I get to cancel. My 6's cancel. Whoosh, whoosh, and I'm left with 1 over 2, 1/2. And I can do it the other way too. If I have 6 over 12, I can divide numerator and denominator by 6. 6 divided by 6 gives me 1. 12 divided by 6 gives me 2. 1/2. Either way you solve it. Well, let's try number 3. My denominator is 9 for both, so my 9 comes across. And then I have my numerator, 5 plus 2 is 7. And then I ask myself, can I simplify this? Okay, they're both odd, so 2 doesn't go into them. Ask myself, is anything else going into it? 3 goes into 9. 3 doesn't go into 7. And all my other numbers, 4 is even, 5 doesn't go into either one, and then I start to get too big. And so 7/9 is as good as we get, and we also know that 7 is prime, if you're familiar with that, and so we can't factor it anymore. Number 4, my denominator stays the same. They're both 16. And then I subtract. 11 minus 3 gives me 8. 8/16. I definitely like to reduce that. 8/16. What terms do they both share in common? They're both even. I could do a 2, or could I break it up any further than that? I could maybe do a 4. Let's try that. So I can either break them up into their factorization, which I'll do first. 4 times 2, or 4 times 4. And then my 4's cancel. And I'm left with 2/4. And then I know that I'm not fully done reducing because they're both even. So I can rewrite this. I can factor out the 2. 2 times 1. I have to make sure I include that 1 when I'm using this method. 2 times 2. My 2's cancel. And I'm left with 1/2. And I also could look at this and say 8/16. And I could divide numerator by 4, divide the denominator by 4, and I'm left with 8 divided by 4 gives me 2/4. I'm in the same situation where I have two even numbers, so I definitely could take out a 2. I could divide both sides, divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1/2. Either way you do it, it's totally okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about adding fractions that do not have a common denominator, okay? I am adding up 1/4 and 1/6, and I'd like to find a common denominator. I'd like to find the smallest one possible, but if you find one that's bigger, that's okay too. We're just going to try and find the smallest one possible. So I look at, I'm going to write up here, when I multiply out 4 on the times table like that. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So that's my 4's. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, etc. This was 4. And then 6, which is supposed to be an arrow. What am I multiplying out of 6? I've got 6, 12, 18, 24. So if I look at my list, let's see what things I have in common. It's 12, 12, 24, 24. So I'm looking for the least common multiple. So I'm going to pick 12 because it's the smallest. If you pick 24, it'll be okay too. But we're going to go with 12. Okay. So first thing I need to do is make each term have an equivalent fraction over 12. So I ask myself, 1/4 becomes how many 12ths? I multiply 4 times what to get 12? I multiply it by 3. So I'm going to go 1/4, and I'm going to multiply the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3, and I get 1 times 3, 3 over 12. So that's my first fraction, 3/12. And then my second fraction, 1/6. And I need to multiply it to get to 12s. So I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by something. 6 times what is 12? 2. So I multiply numerator and denominator by 2. I get 1 times 2 gives me 2/12. Okay. Now I have my fractions, which I'm going to rewrite down below. Okay. I'm going to make that one red. So I have 3/12. And then I have 1/6, which was over here, plus 2/12. And I'm going to add those together. 3 plus 2 is 5. I keep my denominator 12. Then I ask myself, can I reduce these? 5/12. Can I reduce 5/12? I cannot. They do not have any common factors, so I am done right here. Okay? Number 6, I'm subtracting, and I have the same denominators, 4 and 6, so they are going to have the same least common denominator, which is 12, because I already solved for that. So I have to come up with equivalent fractions first. So we're going to do this one first. 3/4. And we're trying to be 12ths again. What did I have to multiply 4 by to get to 12? I multiplied by 3. by the numerator and the denominator. 3 times 3 is 9. And then 1/6. What do I need to multiply 1/6 by to get 12s? I need to multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. And I get 6 times 2 is 12. That's good. That's what I was aiming for. And 1 times 2 is 2. So I got 2 12s and 1 9. I mean, 9 12s. Okay. Now I'm going to subtract them. 9 12s minus 2 12s. 9 minus 2 gives me 7 12s. And can I reduce this at all? 7, again, is prime. Its only factors are 1 and 7, so it cannot be factored further because 7 doesn't go into 12, and so I am done right here. 7 12ths. It's a lot, I know. Okay, I've got 3 and 5. Let's first come up with a common denominator, okay? I'm going to erase some of this so that we have a cleaner page because it's driving me nuts. There's too much stuff to look at. Okay, well, that's as much as it'll let me get rid of. Okay, so I've got thirds and fifths. So first I need to come up with a common denominator, okay? So my factors of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Okay, that's a lot. I'm going to stop there. And then my factors of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We're good at these, the 5s, right? Now we got to see what do we have in common between the two lists of numbers. I see a 15 on both. And I don't think I see anything else. Those are the only thing I have in common, and it's the smallest number. So that tells me that that is what I'm going to use as my common denominator, my least common denominator. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. So first I've got 2/3 and 1/5. We'll make 1/5 blue, stay with our color scheme, and then 2/3 red. Okay, 2/3 we need to make uh-oh, what's happening? I might have to erase and work above on this one. Let me see if that fixed it. Okay, good. Okay, we can work down here. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so my common denominator is 15. What do I have to multiply 3 by to get to 15? I ask myself that. I get 3 times 5. So multiply by 5. The numerator and denominator. So 2 times 5 becomes 10 over 15. That is my first fraction. And then my second fraction, 1/5. I have to multiply this. I'm trying to get to 15. So I have to ask myself, well, what do I need to multiply by? And I multiply 5 by 3. So I'm multiplying numerator and denominator by 3. So I get 3/15. And now I'm going to add these together. 10/15 plus 3/15. Okay, I'm going to keep my denominator the same because they already match. 10 plus 3 gives me 13. 13/15. Can I reduce this one? Nope, I can't because there's no factors of 13. So that is 13/15. This is as good as it gets. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit for you to do at home. So I'm going to let you try number 8 at home. Let's do number 9 because number 9 is like much harder because we have a negative and a positive number. We're not going to let that freak us out. Okay, first thing I notice we don't have a common denominator. I'd like one. Okay, so I'm going to list out my factors of each number. I make this one red. I'll make this one blue. So my factors of 9 are 9, 18. We just did this rule in class, remember? 27. See all these numbers, when they add up the digits, they add up to 9, 36, 45, 54. Oh gosh, I could keep going a long time. And then let's look at my factors of 3. 1, nope, not 1. 1 times 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Oh, I could keep going, but I do notice we have something in common already. They both have a 9. So 2/9 is already good to go. I don't need to change that fraction. It already has my lowest common denominator. So I just need to change 2/3. 2/3, and I want to make it into ninths. Okay, so I'm going to figure out what I need to multiply numerator and denominator by. 3 times what is 9? 3, so 3 times 3, and 3 in the numerator. 3 times 3 is 6. 6/9. Okay, so I've got negative 2/9. I'm going to rewrite that so the negative's out in front of it. Not, there we go. Negative 2/9 plus 6/9. And I'm going to add these up, okay? When I have the negative sign out front, we leave the denominator the same. The denominator doesn't change anything. The negative is really associated with the numerator when we do the actions. So I've got negative 2 plus 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4/9. And can I reduce this at all? Let me think. 4/9. Nope, they don't have any common factors, so we are fully reduced. Okay, I am going to let you do number 10 on your own. This sheet has a lot of examples, so we are going to pick and choose a little bit. Let's do number 11. Write all answers in lowest terms. 5 minus 2/5. Okay, 5 minus 2/5. 5 is not a fraction, and fifths is a fraction, and I'd like to combine them. I need to make 5 into a fraction, okay? So let's think about this. And I know that this one is already fifths, so this is what I need to make it to, because it needs to match the other one, the fifths. So how many is 5 in terms of fifths? So if I have 5 candy bars, I said I was done with drawing, but I lied. I'm back here doing some more. 5 candy bars. They're all divided into 5 pieces. Okay, I've got 5 candy bars, and I'm going to add them all up and figure out how many pieces I have, because each one has 5 pieces. So I've got 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. 5 plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Or I could have also said 5 times 5. 5 times 5/1. And I want to make it have an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 5. So what do I need to multiply 1 by? I need to multiply 1 by 5. And my numerator, I'm also multiplying by 5. So 5 times 5 becomes 25 fifths. However you look at it, it's totally fine. If you want to draw a picture, it takes longer, but it also works. So I have 25 fifths minus 2 fifths. Okay. So I get 25 minus 2 gives me 23 fifths. And right now we're going to leave our answers like this. It's an improper fraction. We will work on changing it in the future. Okay. Awesome. Okay. 12. We just did one just like that, and we've already done one like 13, and I will let you do 14 on your own as well. Let's talk about part 4, fractions with variables. Okay. Nobody likes these for some reason, but they aren't that bad. We can do it, I promise. Okay. I want to add these two things together. I need to have a common denominator between 3 and 4. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my factors of 4. I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay, let's see if we can find anything in common with 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's see if we have anything in common. Oh, I noticed they both have a 12. Okay, so that is my least common denominator. So let's look at my first term, x over 4. I need to multiply this by something, so my denominator becomes 12. So I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 3 over 3. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. And then I know this one seems tricky. X times 3 is 3x. Okay? It's a little yucky, but we got this. And then I need to do the same thing for 2/3. 2/3. What do I need to multiply third by to get to 12? 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so my fractions that I have are this one right here and this one right here. Okay, and I am going to combine them. I get 3x over 12 plus 8/12. And then I look at this and I go, okay, my denominators match. So it's over 12. And now I'm going to add them together. I have 3x plus 8. Now those are not like terms, so I can't combine. Get 3x plus 8 all over 12. And I cannot simplify anymore. And I'm good to go. Okay. I know it seems complicated, but we'll keep practicing and we'll do some in class as well. Okay, I'm going to erase this so I can write in this space. Since these are pretty big. Okay. Let's look at our fractions we've got here. Got, I'm going to use blue. B over 3 and 4 over a squared. Okay. Now I could write out my list, but I know right away that 3 times anything is just not going to be a squared. So I've got to be creative on this one. On this one, I am going to multiply my denominators times each other. 3 times a squared. And I get 3a squared. And this is going to be my common denominator. Now, I can do this trick on other ones. It will give me a common denominator, but it might not be the lowest. On this one, it works to be the lowest, and it would just work as a denominator that would work. Okay, So I need my denominator to be 3a squared. So I've got b over 3, and I want it to have a denominator of 3a squared. What am I multiplying the denominator by to get to a squared? 3 times what is a squared? A squared. And then b, I have to do the exact same thing at the top. B times a squared. Whew, this is a hard one. A squared, b, I'm going to put it in alphabetical order. And then I have to do the same thing for 4 over a squared. And I want it to have the denominator 3a squared. And what do I need to multiply by? I need to multiply a squared by 3. So I get 3 times a squared becomes 3a squared in the denominator. And then my numerator 3 times 4 is 12. And now I'm going to add these two terms up now that I have a common denominator. A squared b over 3a squared plus 12 over 3a squared. And my denominators match, so they're going to stay 3a squared. And then a squared b plus 12 gives me a squared b plus 12. I cannot reduce that. So this is my final answer right here. Tricky, tricky. We will practice again in class, promise. Okay. Got a word problem. Pam is building a shelf and needs to bolt two bolts. Pam is building a shelf and needs to bolt two boards together. The first board is 3/8 inches thick, and the second is 1/4 inch thick. What is the total thickness of the two boards combined? So what does this tell us? Is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing? It is adding because we're saying combined, combined. So we're going to add 3/8 plus 1/4 together. 3/8 plus 1/4. I need a common denominator between the two. I can list out my factors. Got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. That's a 24. Okay, let's list out our factors of 8, 8, 16, 24, 32. Let's see if we've got anything in common. Okay, I've got 24, 24, 16, and 16. 16 and 16 is lower. Oh, but there's one more. 8 and 8. I can go even lower. So I need 8 to be my common denominator. That's my least common. If I picked any other ones, it would have been fine. I just had to reduce at the end. Let's check this one out. 1/4. I need to convert this into eighths. What do I need to multiply top and bottom by, numerator and denominator by, to get to eighths? 2 over 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So I get 2/8. So I can rewrite this as 3/8. And then I'm going to replace 1/4 with 2/8 plus 2/8. My denominator stays the same. 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. I just blurted it. And then my units, because it's a word problem, my dimensions of this new thick bolted together board is inches. A flower grower has purchased flower purchaser has purchased 9/10 of an acre of land and 7/8 of an acre next year. Then she sold 9 acres of land. How much does she have now? Okay, she purchased, so she has, and then another year she purchased this much more. So she gained this. These are both positive, and then she sold some. So we're going to have some adding and some subtracting. So this is what she started with, 9/10. She adds another 7/10. And then she subtracts this last one, this 9/10, because she sells it. Okay. I have a common denominator, 10. And then I'm going to combine all of the numerator. And I'm going to use the sign this out in front. There's a hidden positive there, so it's 9 plus 7 minus 9. 9 plus 7 minus 9 gives me 7 tenths, and my units are acres. And that's it. Okay, I promise we'll practice more in class because this is a lot. Good luck.